After signature rides through France and in London, a great summer of cycling continued in Spain, with one of the sport's most challenging events, a 3-week ride spanning the nation's most staggering peaks, the Vuelta a España. For a controversial champion, this race marked a return after 6 months suspended, a chance to earn a title in his home nation, at a race he had anticipated all year. This British rider selflessly helped his teammates seize victory in France. Now he came to Spain as the focal point for Team Sky. Runner-up at the Giro d'Italia, a Spanish contender came here with visions of a first-place finish. Two teammates began the race with the same lofty goal, a Spaniard who won 3 years ago, and his countryman who triumphed here last summer. While America's hopes were with this emerging rider, who had begun to show his potential as a Grand Tour contender. For 3 grueling weeks, they clashed and climbed to crown a champion at the 2012 Vuelta a España. The city of Pamplona in northeast Spain is widely known for the running of the bulls. And this year, it was the starting point for the 67th Vuelta a España. 198 cyclists from 22 teams on a 2,087-mile ride to the finish in Madrid. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our look back at the 2012 Vuelta a España. As this year's race got underway, much of the focus was on 2008 champion Alberto Contador, the world's most dominant cyclist over the past 5 years. He returned in August after 6 months sidelined due to a doping-related suspension, amid questions as to whether he could return to previous form. But with a clear focus on climbing, this year's edition of the Vuelta seemed to play toward Contador's strengths. In total, the race would cover 21 stages, 11 of them flat, with 36 rated climbs, 10 uphill finales, and 6 major mountaintop finishes, making the 67th edition of the Vuelta arguably the most difficult ever. The 3-week tour through Spain began with a 10-mile team time trial starting in the Plaza del Castillo. The riders would complete a circuit around Pamplona before finishing in the city's famous bull ring. Team Garmin-Sharp was one of the first to take the course, led by second-year pro Andrew Talansky. The American squad has excelled in the team time trial in recent years, including a victory at last year's Tour de France. At the midway point, they had recorded the fastest time, but with just 3 miles to go, a roundabout proved disastrous. Coldo Fernandez slipped out and took 3 riders down with him. And though Talansky wasn't caught up in the crash, he was forced to wait, as a team needs 5 riders to cross the line before the clock stops. Garmin-Sharp would finish well off the pace, leaving Talansky with a significant early deficit. Meanwhile, Team Rabobank, led by Robert Hessink, recorded the time to beat. Though not a favorite to win the team time trial, Rabobank's time was holding up as other teams finished. Overall contender Joaquim Rodriguez and his Katusha team crossed the line 5 seconds behind Rabobank, a solid start for the podium hopeful. At that point, 3 teams remain, including Team Sky, captained by Olympic time trial bronze medalist Chris Froome.
And so begins the intriguing journey of Chris Froome, who has finished second in his last 2 Grand Tours when he has been held back, riding for a different rider. But now, for the first time this year's Vuelta, he gets a chance to ride for himself as the team leader on GC.
Richie Porte just peeling off the front there as well. So it looks like they're going to put in a very good time.
Coming to the line here. 5 guys have to hit the finish line to get the official time, and it's just 2 seconds back, but that's 4th. Alberto Contador and his return to Grand Tour cycling. Final push. They need all 5 across the line. They're going to go outside the time of Rabobank, and officially for Saxo Bank, it'll be 6th place. 5 seconds removed from our leading squad we see here. Now, the final of the 22 teams to start, Movistar. The cyclists now headed towards the famous bull ring. Movistar, the final 22 teams, and they hit the finish in first place.
Best by 10 seconds. Unreal ride for the Spanish team. They would have never been considered a favorite. Look at this Rabobank squad, devastated. They just got smoked, and so did everybody else.
Leading his team across the line, 25-year-old Jonathan Castroviejo became the first to don the Red Leaders jersey. A great honor and career highlight for the rider from Spain. Alejandro Valverde was the highest-placed contender. And with teammate and defending champion Juan Jose Cobo 4 seconds off the pace, early indications were that Valverde would in fact lead the Spanish Movistar squad. Race favorites Chris Froome and Alberto Contador were separated by just 2 seconds. And after his team's mishap, Andrew Talansky ended up losing 1 minute and 27 seconds on the day. Coming up, the world's best climbers would head into the mountainous Basque country, where a crash caused an early controversy at the 2012 Vuelta a España. With 36 rated climbs, this year's Vuelta a España had a heavy focus on the mountains. But for the first road stage, organizers opted for a flat course. And with few chances to go full speed, the sprinters sensed opportunity on stage 2.
Pretty much a straight road from here all the way to the finish, about a 1% uphill.
John Degenkolb in the white starts to launch the sprint up the middle. Here comes Ben Swift, also in the dark colors for Team Sky. Philippe Gilbert giving it a go for BMC as well. That is Swift near the front. Now here comes Alan Davis there on the left-hand side. At the line, it's going to be Swift, Davis, Degenkolb. Who's going to get it? John Degenkolb, it looks like, for Argo Shimano, just pulls it out.
Very close there at the end, but it does look like Degenkolb. Then it looks like Alan Davis and Ben Swift unofficially in third. Davis, you can see, very upset there. But now congratulating Degenkolb there.
23-year-old John Degenkolb was riding in his second Vuelta a España, and this was his first career Grand Tour stage win. With no change in the standings, Jonathan Castroviejo would start stage 3 in the Red Leaders jersey, but he admitted his chances to keep it were slim. The race was now heading into the rugged Basque Country, an area known not only for its hilly terrain, but also its passionate orange-clad cycling fans. The stage would cross 3 mountain passes en route to the steep finishing Ibar climb, an ascent Alberto Contador surely remembered well. In 2009, at the Tour of Basque Country, he made a decisive attack there to help clinch his overall win. Many anticipated the aggressive Contador to make a move on this stage.
Now, Igor Anton has won on some iconic climbs throughout Europe, and he would love to win today in front of the home Basque fans, and here he goes. Contador, though, responding on the left-hand side. He's going to go right by Anton. Contador just attack after attack. Valverde and Rodriguez have held on each and every time. Froome has clawed his way back on each and every time after dropping off the pace, and now we have this select group of 4 inside of 2K to the finish, where there are time bonuses of 12, 8, and 4 seconds for the first 3 across the line. 300 meters to the line. It's going to be a sprint for time bonuses and a stage win. Joaquim Rodriguez taking it all the way.
Yeah, I don't think Valverde's going to have time to get around him, Steve.
They come into the finish. Joaquim Rodriguez trying to hold off Valverde, who comes around on the side.
That was close.
And it looks like Rodriguez just maybe held on ahead of Valverde.
I'm thinking maybe Valverde. It was very close.
Plenty of drama on the first mountain stage as the photo finish gave Alejandro Valverde the win over a frustrated Joaquim Rodriguez. With the victory, Valverde took over the race leader's red jersey. Stage 4 would also be difficult, with a long climb to the summit finish at the Val d'Escaray ski station. With about 15 miles to go, the winds picked up, and Chris Froome's Team Sky decided to pick up the pace. And that's when the chaos began.
But now look at this. We have, a crash! Oh, a huge crash! Oh, on the left-hand side of the road, just as Sky had put in an acceleration.
Massive pile-up. in the middle of the front of the group there, and look at all the Liquigas Cannondale men.
Saxo Bank has a couple of riders down.
Movistar is in there as well.
The red jersey.
Movistar. There's Valverde.
The red jersey. Alejandro Valverde is back up, but he was involved in that crash. And this is where the crash occurred.
Oh, just horrible crash there. There's Valverde. He's got a teammate with him. But they're going to have a long chase right now, and Sky is putting the hammer down a little bit in the front of the field. There may be some harsh words once these guys make it back up there, and I do think they will.
So this is the first group of what was the main field that contains Froome, Contador, Rodriguez. 4 minutes back. Alejandro Valverde.
The impetus is gone. That's it. He's not going to catch him, Steve.
It looked like he was almost onto the back.
He just could. He made the last push, but look at the front group. The front group actually is accelerating. It's done for him.
Wow. 200 meters. Here comes Simon Clark around him on his right-hand side. Clark blowing right by Tony Martin.
No contest whatsoever.
So Simon Clark is going to ride into his first ever Grand Tour stage victory here on the 4th day at the Vuelta. Alejandro Valverde caught in a crash. Now he comes across, and he is almost 2 minutes back of the winner, Simon Clark.
Simon Clark's stage win was not the biggest headline from stage 4, as focus remained on the unwritten rule of waiting for the race leader after a crash, a rule that had not been applied on this day. An upset Alejandro Valverde wasn't shy in expressing his disappointment that the peloton moved on, saying, quote, "They chose an unsporting way. Sky formed an echelon, and they're perfectly within their rights to do that. I'm not cross that I lost the lead because of this, but because there was no respect." The red jersey would change hands for the 3rd time in 4 days, as Joaquim Rodriguez now led the Vuelta for the 6th time in his career. Chris Froome was now in 2nd place, just 1 second off the lead, with Alberto Contador trailing by 5 seconds in 3rd place. Valverde dropped to 36 seconds back in 9th place, while American Andrew Talansky was now up to 19th place at 1 minute 26 seconds back. Coming up, the favorites would look to attack on a first-time summit finish at the Colado de la Gallina. That's next, right after this. Stage 5 of the Vuelta a España would give the riders a break from climbing on a straightforward 104-mile ride around Logroño. The relatively flat 8-lap, 13-mile-long circuit gave the sprinters another rare chance to showcase their speed. And on the run into the finish, it was Daniele Benatti of the Radio Shack Nissan team who made the first move. Argos Shimano's John Degenkolb immediately responded. The Stage 2 winner waited patiently to come around Benatti. And in the drag race to the line, Degenkolb passed the Italian with a perfectly timed sprint to win it by half a wheel. Race leader Joaquim Rodriguez kept his red jersey. Another day atop the standings for the rider known as Purito. Purito would face a challenging defense of his red jersey on Stage 6, which brought another summit finish. The riders would head to the popular winter resort town of Jaca. After summiting the penultimate climb, the peloton would descend 6 miles to the base of the final obstacle, the Fuerte de Rapitan, a short but vicious 2.5-mile ascent to the finish.
Rodriguez inside the final 300 meters. Oh, what a surprise.
This is huge because Rodriguez is going to be able to get this win almost for sure, but Contador is gone.
Rodriguez goes around Froome. The stage he said he wanted to win. He intended to win. He is pulling away to the win.
Nobody can match Purito on finishes like this.
Joaquim Rodriguez is going to extend his lead at the top of the general classification. Chris Froome is going to come 2nd, and then one more time bonus open for 3rd.
And look at that, it's Valverde into 3rd. Very surprising. Contador 4th. He got dropped, and he got dropped by a fair amount.
Wow.
Joaquim Rodriguez held on to the red leader's jersey with a convincing win, his 7th stage win of the year. The biggest loser on the day was Alberto Contador, who finished in 4th outside of the time bonuses at 18 seconds down. With no mountains in sight, Stage 7 was custom-made for the sprinters. With about 7 miles to go, a crash in the peloton knocked down several riders. But no one was hurt, and everyone remounted for the fast finale at the Aragon Motorsports racetrack. After initially being boxed in, John Degenkolb, now wearing the green jersey as leader of the points competition, emerged at the front. This time challenged by Elia Viviani of Liquigas Cannondale. Riding in 100-degree temperatures, Degenkolb scorched the pavement to take his 3rd mass field sprint win in as many tries. Somewhat off the radar at the start of the Vuelta, Degenkolb was catapulting himself into the limelight as the newest sprinting sensation in cycling. The start of week 2 brought a return to the mountains. The peloton would face 2 colossal climbs toward the end of Stage 8, including the finishing climb up to the Collado de la Gallina, a new ascent that tops out at over 5,000 feet in elevation. With just under 2 miles to go, Alberto Contador decided to make his move.
Several different accelerations by multiple riders. Alberto Contador the latest inside the final K.
And now maybe we get some separation. We haven't seen anybody be able to pull this off, and it looks like this may be the move.
Contador getting a big gap. The time bonus is 3 deep at the finish, 12, 8, and 4 seconds.
Contador played his cards beautifully, following the accelerations of Froome and Rodriguez, never pulling through. And I gotta say, he had me faked out too. It looked like he was on the rivet, but he's put in a massive move here with 500 meters to go. This is a big move. There's a lot in play here. This is for way more than the stage. He could ride into the red jersey.
This is vintage Contador. His first Grand Tour since coming back from the suspension. 4th summit finish. And now riding into a solo stage win after 4 hours in Andorra. He's feeling it.
Yeah, they're not going to bring him back. No way, no how. It's just a question of what the gap is.
Well, Rodriguez with a big acceleration here. Valverde on his wheel. Here they come. Contador trying to hang on. It's going to be closer than we thought. Around the turn. Valverde on the left of Contador with Rodriguez.
Unbelievable.
Alejandro Valverde gets the stage ahead of Rodriguez and Contador.
Wow.
Alejandro Valverde secured his 2nd stage win of this year's Vuelta, while Joaquim Rodriguez kept his overall lead. Froome, in 2nd place, was now 33 seconds back, with Contador in 3rd. And with his win, Valverde was now 50 seconds behind in 4th place. Meanwhile, American Andrew Talansky was quietly moving up, and now sat 16th overall. Coming up, the always crucial individual time trial would shake up the standings at the 2012 Vuelta a España. Stage 9 took the peloton to Barcelona, where race organizers planted a short but difficult climb 2.5 miles before the finish. And when that climb arrived, Team BMC had a plan.
This is about 8% grade here now, and BMC up the right side, it looks like.
Well, BMC rider launching a move. They were at the front earlier today.
It looks like Alessandro Balon to me.
This is Joaquim Rodriguez who's coming up behind him, it looks like.
Wow. Rodriguez, unreal.
So Rodriguez goes by Balon, the former world champion, and now it's the race leader at the front.
I love the way this guy races his bike.
Here comes Gilbert.
Rodriguez.
Gilbert in the yellow helmet on the right is also coming up along the barrier.
Well, for Gilbert to get the stage here, he has to go right around Rodriguez because the GC men will chase and hunt Rodriguez, but they'll let Gilbert go. Gilbert now in the front.
Rodriguez, though, right on his wheel as they come to the top of the climb. 18 wins last year, none so far this year. Gilbert comes around Rodriguez, and that could be it. Philippe Gilbert riding in to his first stage win in the Vuelta and his first win of this entire season as he takes stage 9 ahead of Rodriguez, who gets a time bonus. So does Tiralongo. And now the other riders on the GC coming in about 10 seconds back.
After 18 wins in 2011, Gilbert finally got his first win of 2012. Once again, though, some heads-up racing gained Joaquim Rodriguez more precious seconds, making him look more and more like the man to beat at this year's Vuelta. After a well-deserved day of rest, the peloton hit the roads of Spain for a flat transitional stage before the next day's time trial. This meant another chance for the sprinters. Coming into this race, John Degenkolb had never won a single Grand Tour stage. But remarkably, he had seized all 3 of the sprint stages so far. Stage 10 had a slight uphill finish that gave his challengers hope.
The final 200 meters. There is Degenkolb in the green jersey. Buhani is right on his wheel. This is a long way to go for Degenkolb to try and hold it. Buhani is right there. Then Daniela Bonatti sitting third wheel. Degenkolb trying to maintain the speed. Buhani coming around him, but Degenkolb hangs on. Quattro, his 4th stage win. 4 for 4 in the sprints at this year's Vuelta.
Stage 10 further confirmed Degenkolb's breakout, as the young star remained unbeaten in the sprints. The Argo Shimano rider was actually making it look easy, and his rivals were running out of chances to beat him. Known as the Race of Truth, the individual time trial pits the rider against the clock. No teammates, no drafting, just man and machine on the open road. For the rider wearing the red leader's jersey, Joaquim Rodriguez, this discipline has been his Achilles heel. And it's where he lost the Giro d'Italia earlier this year. With that in mind, Rodriguez worked diligently to improve in this event leading up to the Vuelta. The Stage 11 time trial covered 24 miles, and time trial specialist Frederick Kasiakoff had set the time to beat, stopping the clock at a blistering 52 minutes and 36 seconds. Alberto Contador hadn't contested a time trial in over a year, but the Spaniard had proven himself capable in the past.
Well, here comes Contador to the finish of the time trial. Alberto Contador hits the line, second place, 52:53. That'll be the time to watch for Chris Froome and Joaquim Rodriguez. So now Chris Froome has gone outside the time of Contador, and he's going to lose his GC placing to Contador, who is going to move ahead of him on the general classification. Now Froome trying to minimize the loss at the line, and it's a time of 53:15. Joaquim Rodriguez coming up to the finish, trying to hold on to the red jersey and the overall lead at the Vuelta. And he's right on it. He's right on the 1 minute mark behind Contador.
It is too close to call. We'll have to wait for the official results. Virtual tie there. Unreal.
There was ultimately no suspense on the stage winner, as Frederick Kasiakoff, who switched from mountain biking to road cycling in 2009, got the biggest win of his career. As for the overall, when the calculations were worked out, Rodriguez had done enough to keep his red jersey, but by the slimmest of margins. He now led Contador by just 1 second. Stage 12 brought the cyclists back onto the open roads for a 118-mile ride along Spain's northwest coast. A crash with 20 miles to go reminded the peloton of how dangerous the sport can be, as Xavier Zandio hit the deck visibly injured. After initially trying to remount and continue, he abandoned the race, leaving third place overall Chris Froome with one less teammate. The stage would conclude with a daunting finish on the steep climb to the Mirador del Azaro, a new 1-mile ascent with sections of over 30% gradient.
Here we go. This is where the climb starts. Under 2K to go, and look out. Moreno pacing Rodriguez in the red jersey. Now Rodriguez coming up, accelerating.
Contador marking him. It looks like Valverde trying as well. Rodriguez, this is his home ground where he loves to do the damage on these types of hills.
And they're going by Igor Anton.
And Esterloza. And Meyer.
So now Rodriguez is at the front of the stage, followed by Contador in the white jersey. Nobody ahead of him. Chris Froome has been dropped, so has Alejandro Valverde.
He's got Contador right where he wants him, and there he goes up the right side. Contador having trouble responding.
Rodriguez makes his trademark acceleration. He drops Contador.
He drops him big time. He drops the bomb on everybody as he sails off towards the finish.
Perito riding away to his second stage win of this year's Vuelta. A maximum time bonus for finishing first, and he extends his lead at the top of the general classification.
There was nobody going to deny Perito on that stage win.
Joaquim Rodriguez showed his determination to keep the lead with his second stage win at this year's Vuelta. He earned the red leader's jersey for the 9th day in a row, and with the time bonus, stretched his lead over Contador to 13 seconds. The tired peloton would now face a rolling 107-mile stage, a day that's set up for a potential breakaway. Stage 13 saw 7 men go up the road, each hoping to make it to the finish. With 3 miles to go, the leader's gap to the peloton was down to 45 seconds. But one rider wasn't ready to concede. Steve Cummings, in the red and black colors of his BMC racing team, decided it was time to launch his attack. A couple of riders would chase him until the end. But on the finishing stretch, the 31-year-old showed why it does sometimes pay to get in the breakaways.
That's going to be it. Cummings is going to ride away with this because Fletcher and Clark were looking at each other, wanting help from one another. It never came. So Stephen Cummings, who attacked in the final few kilometers from the breakaway, is going to get the win for BMC.
The Olympic silver medalist in the team pursuit at the 2004 Athens Olympics, Cummings utilized his track skills and rode alone to the biggest win of his career. No changes in the overall meant Joaquim Rodriguez would keep his red leader's jersey for at least one more stage. His lead was 13 seconds on Contador and 51 on Froome. Meanwhile, American Andrew Talansky continued to climb the standings and was now up to 8th place. Coming up, a trio of high mountain stages, including the Queen's Stage 16, would finish up the brutal climb to Cutenegro at the 2012 Vuelta a España. To this point, the Vuelta a España was living up to its billing as the toughest edition ever. And the next 3 days would bring the most challenging stages. First up, Stage 14, which included 4 mountain passes before the highly demanding climb to Puerto de Ancares. It was on this climb that one contender decided to animate the race with just over a mile to go.
Here comes Contador on the inside. He makes his acceleration. And who will follow?
No response whatsoever from these guys.
Alberto Contador in a position right now to ride himself into the red jersey, but now Rodriguez responds. He's going for Contador.
Rodriguez has never been in this type of a situation in his career. He seems to have the legs on the long climbs. Oh, he bumps into one of the spectators.
Here comes Rodriguez in the closing meters. He's up on the back of Contador. Oh, what a dagger that must be for Alberto Contador.
Rodriguez will have better pop at the end. The question is, what did that take out of him? Contador goes.
Contador with another acceleration, digging really deep here.
And Rodriguez quick to respond. I think Rodriguez is going to have the legs to come around.
Tight turn leading into the finish after 4 hours. Alberto Contador just in front of Rodriguez. Now he comes around. Contador on the left-hand side. Perito. J-Rod making a huge statement, pulling away to his 3rd stage win of this year's Vuelta and cementing his position on top of the general classification.
Joaquin Rodriguez has arrived as the true threat to win this race overall. They threw everything at him, and he came back and trumped him at the end.
Alejandro Valverde finishes third.
Another defiant defense of the red leader's jersey for Joaquin Rodriguez, who rode brilliantly to earn his third stage win and build his overall lead to 22 seconds. Arguably the Vuelta's most classic climb, the Lagos de Covadonga appeared at the race for the 18th time this year. It may not be the most difficult ascent, but it has seen many memorable battles over the years. On stage 15, a breakaway group of 9 riders formed, and with none in contention for the overall title, their gap grew to over 15 minutes, making it clear that the stage winner would emerge from this group. Among the overall contenders, Alejandro Valverde, now in the green jersey, was putting in a hard pace on the final climb. Alberto Contador and Joaquin Rodriguez were able to follow, but it cracked Chris Froome, who after helping Bradley Wiggins win the Tour de France, was now showing signs of fatigue. Up the road, Antonio Piedra of the Spanish-based Caja Rural team had broken away from the lead group and was now racing for the biggest win of his 6-year career.
Exactly 5 hours in, and Antonio Piedra, our 5th different first-time Grand Tour stage winner at this year's Vuelta, as he brings it home to win stage 15.
Completely unchallenged. At first, he started barely eking out that gap when he got away from the other chasers, but then he got into that rhythm.
200 meters to the line, Valverde out front, followed by Rodriguez and then Contador. This is not for the stage win, keep that in mind. Time bonuses have been eaten up. This is just about any kind of physical gaps that may form, and it doesn't look like there will be any. Valverde in green, Rodriguez in red, Contador in white. They finish together.
Chris Froome would drop to 4th overall as he finished 35 seconds behind in a group that contained American Andrew Talansky. Stage 16 was dubbed this year's Queen Stage, as many observers believed it was the most difficult. 3 mountain passes before an unprecedented finale to the Puerto de Pajares, where a specially paved 2-mile road to the finish would have grueling pitches of 25%. 2 men reached the final climb first. Dario Caltado dropped Thomas de Hent in what looked like slow motion on the steep slopes.
Dario Cataldo, the 27-year-old Italian, in his 3rd Vuelta, clawing his way to the top. A new summit finish. He's going to be the first ever winner, as he just does hang on.
A couple of minutes behind, Alberto Contador was ready to launch several attacks in his attempt to break Joaquin Rodriguez.
Now Contador riding to the front. His teammate is gone. And Alberto Contador now leading this select group of GC riders, followed by Rodriguez, then Valverde.
Okay, here we go. It is on now. We're starting to see some moves by Alberto, but look at that. No daylight at all for him. Steve, Rodriguez does look to be struggling just a little bit to me. Not that Alberto is not, but these guys are both at their limit.
Inside a 2K to the finish. Can Contador finally shed Rodriguez?
500 meters to go. A big effort by Alberto. As usual, the man in red responding immediately.
Gonna get steeper again. Rodriguez right on his wheel. And he's gonna go past him.
Oh, is he gonna put the nail in the coffin on Alberto right now?
Rodriguez loves these steep finishes. And Contador come behind Rodriguez.
It doesn't look like it. Rodriguez doing it to him once again and getting the time bonus for 3rd.
Joaquin Rodriguez is gonna hang on.
Once again, Rodriguez outdueled Contador. He would keep his red jersey, gaining another 2 seconds on his rival. It was looking like a 2-man fight in the overall as Contador now trailed by 28 seconds. Alejandro Valverde was holding on to the podium in 3rd, with American Andrew Talansky moving up again, now into 7th place. Coming up, yet another mountaintop finish would bring a memorable ride and a major shift in the overall standings at the 2012 Vuelta a España. On stage 17, the riders would face two medium mountains before the summit finish at Fuente Day. After failing to gain time on the red jersey in the high mountains so far in the Vuelta, Contador used a different tactic, attacking on a medium mountain to launch an early breakaway. None of the other overall contenders made the group, and now it was a question of whether Contador's plan would work. He linked up with good friend Paulo Tiralongo, who helped him take a 6-second time bonus sprint with 12 miles to go, and hoped his Hail Mary breakaway would succeed all the way to the finish.
Rodriguez now with no teammates left, and he is now on the front himself, taking up the chase.
And the gap swelling out to almost 2.5 minutes now with under 15K to go. Joaquim Rodriguez at the front of this group, his 14th day in the red leader's jersey, and this may be the last. So finally an acceleration from the two other men in the top three on the GC. What do you think about the acceleration from Valverde here?
Well, it looks great, and Rodriguez is absolutely done. His race is slipping away, Steve. He is losing the Vuelta a España, the race that he looked so good for so long.
Contador will not be giving Tiralongo the stage win today. He's going to take every second and every maximum time bonus that he can accumulate, it looks like, and it would be 12 seconds if he hangs on to win this stage. One kilometer to the finish for Alberto Contador, and one of the biggest days of his Grand Tour career. Valverde now leading this group just seconds behind.
It's going to come right down to the wire in terms of the stage win here.
This is one of the most stunning days in recent Grand Tour history. Alberto Contador takes a landmark win on stage 17 of the Vuelta a España and rides into the race lead.
Meanwhile, race leader Joaquim Rodriguez cracked. He finished 2 minutes 38 seconds behind the new leader of the Vuelta, losing his red jersey and dropping to third overall behind Alejandro Valverde. On a day that was not expected to feature the contenders, Alberto Contador had shocked the peloton with a stunning performance. After 6 months out of competition on suspension, Contador was now back on top as he put on the red leader's jersey. Stage 18 brought the riders to a long but flat ride. It was a day geared toward the sprinters, and the question was, could anyone stop John Degenkolb?
And now they launch the sprint, spread across the road. Here's Alan Davis, Ben Swift, Daniela Benatti, and up the left-hand side of the road, AG2R makes the move, but in the dark colors now, up the middle comes Ben Swift for Team Sky. Benatti coming on his right, and it's Benatti, Swift, side by side as they cross the line.
Degenkolb finally lost a sprint, as the stage ended with a photo finish between Daniele Benatti and Ben Swift. At closer look, it was Benatti edging out Swift by inches. Benatti's first win in a year, and his team Radio Shack Nissan's first win at this year's Vuelta. Stage 19 was one that favored a breakaway. A 110-mile journey with a steady 1-mile rise to the finish. As the peloton caught up to the breakaway near the end, a familiar face came to the front.
Philippe Gilbert, after winning stage number 9, is going to pull away to a victory in stage 19 as well.
An impressive ride by Gilbert, but here comes Valverde too late.
Gilbert gets the stage win. Valverde takes second. Joaquim Rodriguez just misses a time bonus in fourth.
Philippe Gilbert arrived in Spain winless on the season, but once again showed his dominant form from 2011 with his second win of this year's Vuelta a España. No changes in the overall meant Alberto Contador would wear the red leader's jersey as the race headed closer to the finish in Madrid. His lead was now a commanding 1 minute 35 seconds over Alejandro Valverde, with Joaquim Rodriguez looking good to round out the podium in third place, 2:21 back. American Andrew Talansky was now in eighth. Coming up, one final showdown on the last summit finish before the race would arrive in Madrid. You'll see the conclusion of the 2012 Vuelta a España next. After 3 weeks of grueling competition, the peloton had one last intimidating stage left before the finish in Madrid. Stage 20 took the riders over 4 mountain passes before ascending to the summit finish at Bola del Mundo, a climb introduced in 2010, reaching 7,400 feet in elevation. A group of 20 held the lead most of the day, but as they approached the finish, 2 riders had broken away. Richie Porte in the blue and black colors of Team Sky, and 34-year-old Denis Menchov, the teammate of Joaquim Rodriguez on Team Katusha. They were now ready to fight it out for the win.
Porte and Menchov, who's going to have it left in the legs after almost 5 hours on the 5th climb of the day. Menchov accelerating away from Richie Porte. Denis Menchov, the 2-time Vuelta a España winner, riding into his 5th individual stage victory at the Spanish Grand Tour.
Further down the road, Menchov's teammate Joaquim Rodriguez had seemed to rediscover the form that saw him dominate for most of the race. Contador was struggling and fell behind, but the real threat to his lead was Valverde, and the man in red wasn't losing too much time to his closest competitor. Rodriguez came to the finish 44 seconds in front of Contador, but at the end of the day, Contador had stayed close enough to Valverde to keep a healthy lead in the overall. The final stage of the 67th edition of the Vuelta a España would finish in traditional fashion with a ride into the capital city of Madrid. It would be a much more relaxed day for Alberto Contador, knowing all he had to do now was finish the race to be crowned champion. For others, however, this stage meant hard work, as a fast 3.5-mile 10-lap circuit would set up perfectly for a bunch sprint.
Now John Degenkolb launching his move in the final 200 meters. He's got Elia Viviani behind him. Daniela Bonatti is there. Here comes Viviani. Bonatti up the middle, and it's going to be Degenkolb who sneaks it out. His 5th stage win of this year's Vuelta.
That was close. Degenkolb barely held on there at the line.
An amazing tour for Degenkolb, who with 5 wins here will surely be a name to remember come July at the Tour de France. But the big winner on the day was Alberto Contador, who after training all year specifically for this race, was able to pull out the win. The 2008 champion had won the Vuelta for a second time. A look at the final standings confirms Contador's win by 1 minute 16 seconds over Alejandro Valverde. Joaquim Rodriguez filled out the podium, with Chris Froome taking 4th. Florida native Andrew Talansky, in only his 2nd Grand Tour, finished in 7th place overall. A terrific result for the rising 23-year-old. And a look at the final podium, Contador in the red jersey as overall leader, a champion at the Vuelta a España once again. That wraps it up for the 2012 Vuelta a España Look Back. Be sure to log on to universalsports.com for a full schedule of all the cycling programming, including this week's coverage of the UCI Road World Championships.